Well, hi there, everybody. It is Razzle and Shake for episode 52 of this Prattlecast. Coming at you with our second year of adventures. Well, I guess not technically second year, but it's our podcast second year.
It's our second year of adventures for the... Oh, not adventures. For the podcast adventures, I guess. You didn't even say the date today.
It is February 20th, 2017. Are you happy?
Well, you usually do the date.
All right.
You like to date them. So, I'm just trying to help you out.
It's February 20th for people who need to know that it's February number 20.
God damn it, there are people out there who know of your routine, and now they're like, yeah, you do the date, Razzle.
Yeah, I know. Changing things up.
Okay.
Nobody can stop me.
Well, I guess not. I could just delete it.
Well, you're not going to delete this.
No, I can't.
This is a historic moment.
I can't do it.
Episode 52. That's 52 episodes. We just keep getting older.
Yeah, and we're getting more downloads and stuff because I'm all about looking at numbers.
What are you looking at numbers for?
Because numbers are important.
See, I'm pretty sure we get like 5 downloads a week. I'm happy with that.
That is not even close to how many we get a week. We get like quadruple that.
So we get 40?
Is that quadruple of 5?
Well, I don't know. Is it at 20?
That's
I don't
20.
know.
Well, we get even more than that. Like it's
because that's 5 times 4. That's like what is 5? That's 20, right?
No, yeah, God damn
20.
it.
That's 4 5s.
It's at least 50.
20. Yeah, that's not quadruple.
A 50 minimum. It's
that's
usually like 100.
10 times.
Like okay, 10 well there you go. 10 times more than. Oh yeah, because 10 times 5 is 50. Hello, I didn't make it far in high school. Well, in case anybody can't tell, this week's gonna be pretty random. We've been fairly organized the past couple of weeks. We've been like really good and having like a plan.
It's not random.
It's fucking random.
It is a fucking fluke of fate that you have been brought here.
A fluke of fate. A fluke of fate. I like it. So I have something I need to tell you.
Well, hold on. Before you tell me this. Is it good news or bad news?
Depends on how you feel.
Well, that's not a good enough answer for me. But I'm going to go ahead and say let's do it. So.
Okay. They have found an alligator that has a strange color to it. It's an orange alligator.
Well,
they don't know why it's orange, but they have officially named it.
Did they?
It is named the trumpagator.
I knew it. I knew you were going to do that. I knew you were going to bring politics into my podcast again.
It's not politics. God. I just thought it was funny. It's an orange alligator, and they named it the trumpagator.
The trumpagator.
How many presidents get animals named after them? Brady got a hissing cockroach. Trump gets the trumpagator.
It sounds more like a Donald Trump Terminator movie. Like I can.
The trumpagator.
I'm the trumpagator.
Yeah, I feel like there's something wrong with the alligator, or like it rolled around in something.
You know, the alligator is already orange. Why do they have to kick him when he's down?
Right, it's like this alligator already feels upset about his life, and then he's like, they're all calling me the trumpagator now. I was an alligator, but now I'm a trumpagator.
I'm so glad we still have scientific names for animals now.
Yes, I'm really happy that we look at an orange alligator and go, you know what? Trumpagator. That's perfect, right? It's the first thing I thought of. That's a perfect name for that alligator. The poor thing. But yeah, it's like a bright orange alligator. It's weird looking. I think it just rolled around in some dirt.
Well, probably. I guess.
Like some sediment and sand and shit.
I don't know. It's probably a better name than they come up with on those. What are they? The No Man's Sky. Can't you name animals in that game?
Yeah, you could name planets and animals and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like somehow a lot of names had dicks in them. There's probably a lot of penis jokes.
I get the feeling that there's just this one player who's still diehard playing that game. This one person, and they're going out. They're just going to name everything. Because there's somebody out there who saved up their money. They saved up that $60 so they could go and buy this game, and it turned out to be No Man's Sky, and it was obviously a disappointment, but this person's like, hey, I don't have the money. I can't just buy another game, so I'm playing the hell out of this. I'm getting my money's worth, and they're still playing it.
I'm sure there are people that are still playing that game and love it.
I don't know if I'd say people, but person I would go with.
No, you'd
yes.
go with just there's a single human left playing that game.
I think I'm willing to bet there is a person who is still playing the game. I don't know if I would bet money on there being people playing the game right now, but a person definitely, most certainly.
There can't just be one person playing No Man's Sky.
It's a single player game.
If I were to hit No Man's Sky on Twitch, I bet people are playing it.
Well,
I mean, it's a bad thing to play on Twitch. I mean, you're just gonna get shit on.
I don't really think you can play No Man's Sky. I think you just kind of watch it.
Ouch.
What do you mean, ouch? I'm giving an accurate portrayal of what No Man's Sky is. It's a animated movie.
I guess I never looked at it. I know nothing about it.
Kind of like what do they call them, like the walking simulators, except not a story. Usually, even walking simulators, they have stories.
Yeah.
Gone Home had a story. What's No Man's Sky story?
I don't know.
I want to make a documentary of No Man's Sky.
Just the development process and everything. You know, you'll be met with no comment the entire time.
No, I don't even mean it. I guess I mean more like a documentary that's a movie, like a docudrama, sort of like they did with the O.J. Simpson thing, you know. Which, by the way, I know you haven't seen it yet, but you need to. The O.J. Simpson trial on Netflix.
It just seems like a train wreck I don't want to get involved in.
Oh, it's weird because on one hand it's really good, and on the other hand, Cuba Gooding Jr. plays O.J. Simpson, and so it's this weird balancing act that I can't really decide, is this good or is this a parody?
I don't think he's a good fit for O.J. Simpson.
No, he's nothing. He doesn't work for O.J. Simpson. He's nothing like him. He doesn't look anything like him, doesn't sound like him, doesn't talk like him, doesn't act like him.
Honestly, I don't know. I feel like the only thing he has in common with him in this film is that they're both black. That's about it. Because Cuba Gooding Jr. is one of those black actors who's like, oh, God. Can I even say this without somebody yelling at me?
No, you can't.
Okay.
Why would you even? No, you can't say it. No. What I was getting at before you started getting us in trouble over here.
I can't get us in trouble. It's the internet. I can say whatever I want.
It's the Cuba Gooding Jr. He's a fine actor. I've got no issue with his acting ability.
He's not a good actor.
No, he's a fine actor. I've seen him do some good work.
Okay. I haven't.
And I saw him in that early 90s flick. His very first, wasn't that his first movie? What was that? Boys in the Hood.
I have never seen Boys in the Hood. Because just the title alone says, no, I don't really want to watch that.
Yeah, it's one of the movies that they based what was the Grand Theft Auto game after Vice City?
Oh, San Andreas?
Yeah, San Andreas took a lot of hits from movies. Kind of like
I
Vice
like
City
San Andreas.
Like Vice City had Scarface, and it had all these 80s. Well, the San Andreas movies took a lot of cues from the early 90s films, like Boys in the Hood was one of them. So, yeah.
What Razzle meant to say is the San Andreas game, not the San Andreas movies. Just
did I say movies?
Want to clarify that there are no San Andreas movies.
No, there is a San Andreas movie. There is. The Rock's in it.
Oh, yeah, that's not the same. Yeah. It's nothing like Grand Theft Auto. No.
Like, I remember when they announced San Andreas was going to be a movie, I thought, oh, that's going to be neat. I thought
it's not what you thought it was.
Didn't they make a movie called Grand Theft Auto and it had, like, Christopher Walken in it?
Okay, Google. I could Google this.
Go ahead.
Hold on. We can Google this, see if Grand Theft Auto was actually a movie. And I don't know why. Grand Theft Auto movie. Let's take a gander here.
I don't know if it had anything to do with the game, but it was definitely a movie.
Well, Grand Theft Auto is a movie that came out in 1977.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with the game, but
directed by Ron Howard.
Ron Howard did it.
Yep. Ron Howard's in it too, with Nancy Morgan. They want to get married in Las Vegas. Blah blah blah. Yeah, it's a comedy. You can go check it out. That's what the video game was inspired by.
Now, is Christopher Walken in the movie?
Let me take a look here.
Because that's the part I need to know if I'm right on that.
You are wrong.
I'm wrong. He doesn't appear in the movie.
No, but Christopher Walken might be in another Grand Theft Auto movie.
Another Grand Theft Auto.
Christopher Walken, Grand Theft Auto.
Then I'm thinking of something else anyway. But what was I talking about? We were talking about OJ. We were talking about. You know, and most of the cast did okay. Like guy from Friends, Schwimmer, playing a Kardashian. You know, it
Which
was a
is
little
so
weird.
strange.
Like he doesn't really come off like Kardashian did, but he plays that role well because he emphasizes the one trait that character needed to have for that narrative of a film to work.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Cuba Gooding Jr. comes off like he's almost parroting OJ in some ways because nothing he said, I couldn't see OJ in any of it. Even when OJ was acting like a total crazy person, like on the Naked Gun movies. You know, I figured if you were going to make fun of OJ, maybe you'd portray him like he was in the Naked Gun movies. But no, he just does something completely different. I'm like, I don't get this at all. There's so many better actors they could have cast. They could have cast Shamar Moore. I would have gone there.
Yeah, but I think he's too pretty to be OJ.
OJ was a good-looking guy.
Like, yeah, but I don't know. Well, I feel like Denzel's too old to take that role.
Yeah, he's way too old.
He's a little bit too old for that. No. I mean, but younger Denzel would have been perfect, I think. I think you could have gotten Denzel in there.
Well, younger Denzel's not around anymore.
Well, listen, I'm just throwing things out. I think Shamar Moore is too beautiful.
Well, I think that
you can't put something that pretty in that kind of situation. It's
okay. Well, let
me
ask you this: like, if you had to choose between the two of them, you're going to pick Cuba Gooding Jr.?
I wouldn't pick Cuba Gooding Jr. to ever grace my eyes. No, I would always pick Shamar Moore. What kind of question is that?
No, I'm asking you because I'm like, what I was saying was there are better actors I could have picked.
Yeah, I don't see. The moment I found out that he was, when this first came to be, and they were like, oh, he's going to be O.J. Simpson, I'm like, that doesn't sound right at all. Like, it's Cuba Gooding Jr. O.J. Simpson? No. I mean, Shamar Moore could have pulled it off. He could have made it work. He's a good actor. I like him.
You had Nathan Lane as F. Lee Bailey.
See, but I like Nathan Lane.
No, he's great.
He is?
You're right. He's great in this role. Absolutely.
Okay, good. Because I was real worried.
But no, John Travolta's kind of hit and miss.
Well, who is he supposed to be?
He plays Shapiro. He plays old Bob Shapiro, the original lawyer of the trial.
How does he do?
John Travolta, I think, is the only person there who tries to mask his voice and to just come off as somebody totally different. And I think that's okay for this role because every time I've ever seen an interview with Shapiro, that's kind of how Shapiro seems, like very fake. Like you don't really know what he's thinking. And John Travolta did a good enough job presenting Shapiro as I remember him. And even he went through some makeup stuff, like he got his eyebrows really thickened for the part.
Oh, God.
Like because, I mean, if you've ever seen Shapiro, I mean, he had to look like him. So.
Well, because Travolta, since he's gotten older and has been doing less roles, he's kind of been slipping for me. I mean, and I love John Travolta. Like, I love 95% of what he's done. But in his recent years, I have not been wholly impressed with what he's been doing. So
well, he's just older, so he can't, do some of the stuff he used to do.
He can't boogie.
No, he
I'll
can't
tell
do that.
you what.
Not anymore.
He can't dance or sing the way he used to.
But he had some great roles. He had that Pulp Fiction.
But he was young.
Well, yeah, he was young, but that was his comeback. Like, Pulp Fiction was where he came back because he'd gone through some years of just going away. Like, he couldn't catch a break, and then suddenly Pulp Fiction. Yeah. And he was a star again. Yeah. But,
God damn it, how did the world forget about Travolta?
Well, I think it's because, like, Battlefield Earth and shit, we like to forget those types of movies.
Okay, fine.
I mean, that space opera that the Scientology guy wrote, that, it just didn't work.
Yeah,
you can't make a movie.
I think Travolta's still a Scientology human, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, he's still a Scientologist.
Isn't he still deep in that?
Yeah, he's like the second most famous Scientologist, right behind Tom Cruise, I would say.
But doesn't he come off as less crazy than Tom Cruise has?
Well, I think the thing there is that Tom Cruise, for a while, Tom Cruise stopped caring, I guess, what people thought about him because he just started opening up about Scientology because he started doing these interviews. And, of course, there's the infamous thing on Oprah where he jumped on the couch and started talking about how much he loved Katie Holmes. And then he had
you know what, though? I've never actually seen that.
I have.
I
And
have heard of it. I've seen it parodied from Family Guy and everything else. I know that
well,
this happened, but I
you
won't
can
watch
find
it.
it on YouTube.
Like,
And the
it's
other thing on
scary.
YouTube is the fight he had. Well, I guess I don't know if I should call it a fight, but certainly an argument of words, a sparring match of words between him and Matt Lauer.
Who's Matt Lauer? Why does that name sound
He's
familiar?
he's on one of those news shows. I think it might either a morning show or
Okay.
something. He's been around for years. I think he's on NBC. I don't really know, but yeah, they got into a sparring match of words over Scientology's views on like prescription drugs and stuff, and it became this huge thing that people parodied and people just kind of looked at that like, Jesus Christ, Tom Cruise is crazy. But yeah, and now I think Leah Remini is probably the most famous ex-Scientologist.
Well, yeah. She gives
Oh
no
yeah,
fucks. She's great.
she's been going after them with a sledgehammer.
Yeah, she doesn't give a shit. And
And I'm
good for
glad
her.
too. I say good for her.
Like, good for
Good for
you.
her.
But well, at least I know because I've never heard of Travolta doing anything crazy in the public about it.
Well, no,
Think-
he doesn't anymore. Well, I mean, oh, okay, I meant Cruise, but Cruise doesn't anymore. Like Cruise had somebody shut him up, either a new publicist or something, and he shut up about it, and he doesn't.
well, that's probably
He,
for the best.
I mean, he'll talk about it, I think, if people ask about it, but he doesn't go out of his way to promote it anymore, I guess.
Mm.
But Travolta, he does talk about it because I've seen interviews, but it's always people will bring it up. They'll bring up Scientology to him. It's not like something that he goes out there and just starts going
Well,
off
yeah, good for him. I'm proud
off
of you,
script.
Travolta. Don't go
But
nuts.
but Travolta will talk about it, and he'll talk about how how he feels about Scientology, and he's obviously big into it as well, and he's happy to talk about it too. If you've ever watched any of those interviews, but yeah,
But I
Cruise
like
and
that he's
Travolta.
not nutty about it. Like, you can have your beliefs, regardless of however I feel about them. I'm just happy he's not, like, shoving it down people's throats. Cruz seemed a
Well,
little nuts.
yeah, Travolta's not jumping on couches or anything like that.
Yeah, no.
But
I don't need him jumping on couches and screaming at Oprah.
well, let me ask you, what's one of your favorite Tom Cruise's roles? What's a great Tom Cruise?
I haven't seen a lot of Tom Cruise's movies.
Really? So you
I think
like
the
not even
last
the old
thing
ones?
I ever saw was that it's got to be something newer I saw in theaters, Night and Day, and I didn't like that. I thought he was a cheeseball.
I haven't seen a lot of his newer stuff.
Yeah,
I've seen I've obviously seen all the Mission Impossible
I haven't
movies.
seen any of those.
Some of those are really bad.
They don't seem like a movie I would like in general. I'm not usually into
Well,
movies like that.
well, I don't think you grew up with the show Mission Impossible,
I
did
did
you?
not.
All right. Well, I mean, they kind of fuck up a lot of things from the old show, but even having said that, I think the first one and the last one they did were probably the two good ones, and then there's two, like part 2 and 3, that were kind of garbage. But
They have a new one coming out now.
that doesn't surprise me. I mean,
Yeah.
it makes them
I
money.
read about that the other day. They're making a new one, and I'm like, oh, another one. I mean, but I've just never. I've seen commercial for it. I kind of get the idea of what kind of movie it is. Like, aren't they always breaking into something
Not always.
or some
It's because
shit?
they're spies. They're
Yeah. Like,
not espionage, I guess, but like the old show. The old show had this mix of characters. Each had their own strength, and I think the character that Tom Cruise plays is sort of a mix between some of them. Like there was always that one guy on the show who was able to make these masks to make him perfectly disguised as anybody he wanted to be, so he could like create these prosthetics.
oh, that's
And
crazy.
he would just go out there and he'd look just like whoever he was trying to look like. And then there was obviously like a demolitions expert or whatever. And so you had like this group of misfits who just were able to go out there and do missions and, do their whole thing. And it always started off with Jim Phelps, who's sort of their leader, and he'd be given a mission briefing. And at the very end of the briefing, it would say, this message will self-destruct in so many seconds. And it would start to smoke up, so he had to get rid of it. Sometimes he would light a cigarette to hide the smoke so people walking by wouldn't even notice.
Well then.
Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I've never seen them. I don't think I've seen any. I do remember just yesterday I was kind of reading up on some Japanese history and about the Last Samurai War. And The Last Samurai is a movie that Tom Cruise is in. It's on Netflix. I haven't watched it yet, but he plays the Last Samurai, even though he's American. And
No. Okay, you need to watch the movie. I saw the movie years ago. If I remember right, I actually liked it, but I haven't seen it in so long.
Everyone tells me it's really good. It's really great. It's not like it follows the historical events pretty well, but it obviously takes liberties because movie. But that he is trained to be a samurai somehow and is trying to help the Japanese transfer into modern warfare, but it doesn't work out.
I mean, it was a great little movie as far as I remember.
That's the only movie with him in it that I've wanted to see. I know he was in other things. I've seen like those clips. There's always a clip I see of him like in his underwear sliding down a hallway.
Yeah, that was from Dirty Business or Risky Business.
Never seen that.
Risky Business. That was one of his breakout performances. He basically plays a teenager, and his parents, if I remember right, because it's an 80s movie, I haven't seen it in a couple of years, but his parents leave, and so he basically ends up, I don't remember if this was an accident that just sort of happened by whatever reason, or if it's something he actually planned to do, but he basically opens up like a brothel in a way, like an escort service for clients and things, and I don't remember it that well though, so I could be completely misremembering certain things, but obviously there's that movie and there's Top Gun.
Never saw that.
Yeah, Top Gun, that's a big one.
Wait, what's his name in Top Gun? Isn't it him and a friend and they have names? Or is that another thing?
Val Kilmer, I think, is in the movie too.
And are they pilots?
Yeah, they're like jet pilots.
I've caught bits and pieces of this on TV then.
Yeah, it's a very famous.
Him and Val Kilmer, huh?
Yeah, I think that was the cast. It's been a long time since I've seen most of these movies.
Wow, Val Kilmer. Yeah. Not sure if that makes me not want to watch it.
Well, I'm told Val Kilmer's a real jerk, like on sets and stuff. I don't know if it's true, but that's what I hear. I think
Val Kilmer might be one of the most publicly self-centered people I've ever seen. Outside of some other people, but like I remember I told you once off the podcast that he's if anybody has Facebook, I think it's worth taking a couple minutes to look at Val Kilmer's page, because he will constantly post his quote-unquote artwork. Whatever you consider art is your thing. I don't consider this art. He'll sit there with a camera on him and his wall of art just spinning in circles, and he'll like flourishly sign everything, and he's like, I am so pleased that you guys accept my mission to just engage in art. And he's trying to sell this for like crazy amounts of money. And it's not art that you would spend that kind of money on, but it's Val Kilmer, so people are buying it for whatever fucking reason. And then he'll also post these things, like he posted something about how he was on a jet with Angelina Jolie, and he left her like a bunch of flowers, and her boyfriend wasn't pleased, but she was. And like he made it sound like he had like a thing with her almost, and like he didn't care that the boyfriend knew about it. He's very fucking strange on Facebook, and he's very full of himself, even though he has no right to be at all. But that's Val Kilmer for you.
But I mean, like, people have given interviews where they've talked about him on the set where he's kind of hard to work with. Now, I think there's only one Val Kilmer performance that's just stellar, and that's his portrayal of Doc Holliday in Tombstone, which is seen that. One of the... You haven't seen Tombstone. Oh, my God.
We've talked about this, and you've shamed me publicly and privately.
I like to forget about the things that you tell me that hurt me. I mean, it's a Kurt Russell movie. It's got Sam Elliott.
Ooh, I like Kurt Russell.
Kilmer.
Yes, you told me about Sam Elliott. That's why I want to see it, because Sam Elliott and Kurt Russell.
Then Bill Paxton's in there for some reason, but it's an all-star cast. Like even Billy Zane is in there.
Billy
Zane. The guy from 90210, who played Brandon. What's his name? I can't even remember.
I didn't watch 90210.
I forget.
Well, you know what? I don't think that's Val Kilmer's only good role. I've seen two movies where he's actually, like, there's a movie I saw him as the main role, The Salton Sea. I thought that was really good.
He was okay in MacGruber.
He was a side character, I guess, but in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, I liked him too.
And it's been so long since I've seen Top Gun. Maybe he was good in that too. I don't know.
Yeah, I just remember a lot of Robert Downey Jr. in Kiss Kiss. So maybe Val Kilmer just didn't matter, so I assume it was a good role for him. But I'm not a fan. How did Val Kilmer come up? Oh, Tom Cruise, Top Gun. Got it.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, I've been reading a lot about Mass Effect.
I still haven't watched the new video.
That's okay. I'm not going to talk about the new video.
Okay,
but,
good. Don't shame me.
Well, the new video, all it is basically shows you a lot of good little gameplay stuff, like abilities and weapons, and they're talking about.
Yeah, you told me that. I'll get to it eventually.
But no, I came across there was some people talking about Sara. I almost said Sara Shepard. It was Sara Ryder.
Awkward?
Yeah, people have been like shitting all over her character model.
Oh, why? What now?
They say she's too ugly.
I'm sorry.
I'm
That bitch is pretty decent looking. I hate to break it to you, people.
She looks great.
I think she's granted, like, she's a pretty girl. Like, I don't.
Compared
what's
to
the
every
problem?
other human female that BioWare has ever had a character model for, I actually think she surpasses all of them.
I'm sorry. And like when you look at her compared to like Cora, I'd rather be Sarah. I'm just.
Yeah.
I'm just.
If Cora was the player character,
I would agree with the statement then. I'd be like, yes, you're right. That's a weird looking character model. I agree. It's just Miranda with a new face.
She's not even a weird looking character model. It's just I think the haircut's a little weird. Now, and I think I spoke about this earlier, but I don't really have a problem with them doing modern haircuts in this because even if you go back to Star Wars, you have like the 70s hairdos. So it makes sense to have modern hairstyles and stuff. But I look at it, I'm like, okay. It just looks a little too hipster to me to be.
Yeah. I mean, to me, Cora just seems like a Miranda reboot. And I wasn't a fan of Miranda either. Like I thought Miranda, because even playing Mass Effect 2 now, I notice it so much more now of how much intentional full body and ass shots they do of Miranda that it drives me insane. I'm like, all right, why? No one's giving me like package shots of the people I want to look at, so what the fuck?
They really like to emphasize Miranda's
I feel like Cora's just the new one, and I'm like, I'm not interested.
Well, I hope not. And like I'm hoping that, and I'm not going to judge her just on her looks or anything because that's just weird. But no, what I was getting at here is because Cora could be fine.
She could be fine, but right now I don't know her, so.
I know. It was when I first saw her in the trailer, I was like, she looks a little weird to be on this expedition.
Yeah.
But that was my first thought. Anyway, moving on to Sara. Yeah, people have just been shitting all over. Now they used face scans of actual real life models for both of the twins, for the Ryder twins.
They found pretty models.
Yeah, and people have been saying that Sara Ryder doesn't look like the face model. And I looked at them side by side. I think she does. I think one of the things people are angry about is that face scans don't pick up makeup. Because if you
yeah.
I mean, think about it. I mean, I think Sara Ryder probably looks just like this model based on what I saw. It's just that she's not wearing the heavy makeup that the model was wearing in the cap, the screen
makeup
cap.
makes people look very different.
Yeah.
I mean, it does.
And the screen cap's not going to pick that up. I mean, it's a face scan. What am I talking about?
It's just picking up facial structure, essentially. Right. That's all you're really going to get from that is facial structure.
And it's just weird that people are so up in arms about something that they can change in the game.
Yeah, if you want her to look all dolled up, doll her up. Like, what the fuck do you want? She looks like a normal person.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we were talking about this the other day, but I'm actually thinking about playing her first.
Yep,
this time around. So, yeah. I'm going to play both of them, but I might play. Now, how do you think the twins, as far as, because we know they feature in both gameplay runs.
Yeah, so there'll be interactions.
Do you think that if you pick Sara, that Scott is sent on a mission somewhere, or do you think he's going to be like incapacitated or injured, sort of like Mass Effect 3, like they did with Caden or Ashley, where they had him in bed?
Yeah, that's fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Don't give me a love interest and then take them away from me. I had to break up with him in the second one. I'm sorry, I'm going through a lot of pain with Caden right now, and you just brought it up. whew, and I'm not even gonna see him till halfway through the third game. It's bullshit.
No, you see him at the very beginning of the third game.
Yeah, but he's still gonna like be all fucked up, and
Yeah, he'll be very suspicious at the beginning.
yeah, it's annoying. Like that's not the kind of relationship I need in my life. Um, but no, I mean, it could go that way, but I would actually like to see it be where, depending on who you pick, like, I don't know, almost like, I want to see the gameplay obviously differ a bit because they have different backgrounds, so I feel like they're obviously gonna interact with situations very differently from each other. Because one of them was like, was checking out Prothean sites and stuff before this. I don't remember which one. I think it was
Yeah,
Sara doing that.
yeah, I know Sara was with. Now, from what little I could read on the little screen cap they showed us, I think that she joins the Alliance military, and maybe she was working with the Asari.
I know one of them was doing Prothean stuff. I think it was her.
Yeah, and I think that might be what she was doing with the Asari.
Yeah.
Now, I don't really remember. It's been a while since I read about them.
Regardless, they have two pretty different backgrounds, and obviously they're going to have different skill sets because of that and different knowledge and information. They're not the same person. So I would like to see it where you do see them in passing from time to time, but you're both engaged in different things. And you can interact and kind of maybe even sometimes make decisions with them or about them. But I don't want to see them disappear.
All right, but if you can interact with them, there comes that question of like, how is the Pathfinder chosen? Because we already know that Alec Ryder is the Pathfinder, and we know that Cora Harper is second in command. So how does it go from being Alec Ryder to being either Scott or Sara? And how is that choice made in the game?
Maybe, okay, so it could be, because I would be kind of upset if like we didn't see them at all. But
I would too, like especially because there would be no point in having them both in the game.
No, there's no point in having a brother and sister if you don't get to see your brother or sister. I don't see a point in it if I don't get to interact with them and see them and have that relationship with my sibling throughout the game. But you bring up a good point, because the only way they can do it without like making one of them die or disappear and still have them in the game would probably be, I don't know, maybe one of them, because I have a feeling that Alec dies. And that's why
I feel like a lot of people are saying, or a lot of people think that you might play as Alec Ryder in the beginning.
As a little prologue thing.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking that a long time ago, that you might be him in like the prologue, and then you either die or you become captured or incapacitated. Because if he's captured, it makes sense of why they would want to go after him. But we don't know what the plot is. We don't know if this is.
I don't know if a capture would make sense.
Given
they're in a new galaxy and they haven't even met anybody. I mean, but then again, this new race that they meet, which seems to be, from what I've seen, might be the big enemy. It might be the enemy force that you're up against, but I don't know. It just seems that way. Maybe they took him. Maybe they took the Pathfinder and were like, listen, we're taking this guy because we don't know who the fuck you are, and you landed in our galaxy. Or he dies on some landing mission before it even starts or after it starts or whatever, but in order for one of the kids to be picked, I feel like that kid would have had to be involved in it somehow, and they picked that kid because of a rescue or trying to help or something.
See, I'm really curious of how it plays out, because I imagine there's something that happens of why this person becomes the Pathfinder instead of Cora, because that's one thing they'll have to explain to us, is why is the next Pathfinder this person who wasn't the second in command?
Right. Why is it usually a son or daughter?
Yeah, I mean, why? I mean, these aren't like monarchies on ships. Like if Kirk becomes incapacitated, Spock becomes the captain.
Yep.
And but we don't have that. We don't have that happen here. So why does the next Pathfinder fall upon the son or daughter of Alec? And also, why does it fall on that person instead of the other sibling? There has to be a reason.
I hope that regardless of who you pick, the way they come into it it doesn't need to be completely different, but I would like to see them come into the role in different ways.
How do you mean?
Like, say if you choose if you choose the son, what's his name gonna be? Is it Jack?
Scott.
Or Scott, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought Jack. Say you pick Scott and say his way of becoming the Pathfinder is, I don't know, some fucking crazy rescue. I wouldn't want Sarah's to be the same. I wouldn't want her way of becoming the Pathfinder to be that. I would like to see her opening story into it be a little different somehow. And maybe it won't be, and it's fine if it's not. I understand that.
I'm pretty sure it'll be exactly the same.
Yeah, but I'd
probably,
like
you
to see
remember,
it different.
like, to give you an idea, like with Shepard, when Shepard is becoming, or at the very beginning, when they go and they find the artifact, the difference there is that if you're the female Shepard, it's Caden who almost becomes sucked into the thing, whereas if you're male Shepard, it's Ashley.
Oh,
And
I
it
didn't
just,
know that.
yeah. And that's the only difference.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and I guess it was so that they could build some kind of a romantic arc there.
Yeah,
So
and
you're
then take it
rescuing
away
the
from us for
Yeah.
2.5 games. Okay, thanks. Fucking
Well,
sure.
obviously they didn't know what they were doing. Like they didn't. I think they wanted to. In fact, if you go back to the interviews, they definitely wanted to, but they wanted to have like these romantic interests that last all 3 games. And after the first game, I think they realized we don't know how to do that. We don't.
Yeah, considering how disconnected the first game is from the second and third one. Because I've had so many conversations about it lately. Like, playing the first game, it doesn't feel like it's a part of the rest of the series, for me.
Oh, I disagree because the first one's where they lay the groundwork.
Oh, no, I meant story-wise, it definitely is, but I don't feel like it connected with... I don't feel like my relationships carried over in a way that made sense for me.
Oh, yeah, they don't really carry over at all.
Yeah,
No.
like, no decisions I made really... Like, they mentioned some things in the second game, but nothing really mattered. Like,
And
I got some story, but...
I think I told you this, but I was completely mean to just about everybody in my very first playthrough. Like in the first game, I was mean to Garrus and Liara and Tally, and the only person I was really nice to was Rex. And when I went to go meet all these characters again in part 2, they were all acting like we were all old buddies. Like, hey, good to see you again, and like they were just all excited.
Yeah,
like,
when
I think
really
Liara
they should
comes up
be
and
pretty
hugs you.
angry. Like, even though they haven't seen you in forever, and yeah, you're a hero, they'd be like, "Oh, Shepard, hi."
But I was super mean to Liara, and then I meet her in the second game, and she's like, "Oh, I want to hug you. It's
yeah,
so
she
good to
did that
see
to
you
me
again."
too, and I was like, "What the fuck? I was such an asshole to you."
So that stuff doesn't carry over, and
No.
that was really weird. And it's one of those things about, hey, if you're going to do this, if you're going to do a 3-episode arc, then stop trying to retcon decisions. I mean, they did it throughout the entire trilogy. They did that with Ambassador Udina. Regardless of what, like, to give you an idea, Udina, the first game, I made him the new ambassador, the new counselor, whatever, the chairman, I can't remember. I made him like in charge. And so second game, while he is in charge, he's not in charge of the council that I put there. He's in charge of a completely different council. Because I had like an all-human council, because I told you I played total renegade.
Oh yeah, I killed everybody too. I was like, "Hey, the mission's all that matters. We gotta kill Sovereign. Let's go."
And suddenly he's in charge. I mean, he's on this new council and everything, but he doesn't really have any power, and it's not an all-human council. It's nothing that I created. And so then the third game comes. The third game, which completely screws up everything. And like I can't even remember what it was about Udina, but they retconned something again with him. And I don't even remember what it was.
They just made... I don't remember what he was doing, but they made him your enemy. Like...
Oh, no. The third one is when we find out it's not an all-human council, I think. Because that was the one I went in there, because I remember I was so confused. I thought there was something wrong with my save game. I actually Googled to find out if there was something wrong with my game, and it turns out I found this forum. It used to be called the BioWare forums before they nuked them. Yeah, they used to exist. And people were talking about, they just retconned it. None of that stuff matters anymore. They just made a new story, so everybody has the same fucking story now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they plan on doing Andromeda as a new trilogy, or if it's going to be like a single game.
They say they want it as a single. I think they want to go the Dragon Age route, where they have different adventurers and different storylines in the same universe, I think.
Okay. And now in Dragon Age, does anything carry over from game to game?
Okay.
Anything at all?
Yes, but also no. I think they do retcon some things. But there are some things that also do carry over. It's just that in my opinion, with Dragon Age, I don't even see why they bother. I mean, I can't even, I don't even know what the hell is going on in that game anymore. I'm completely lost in the world, and that is not a good feeling when you're playing the third game and you've played all of them leading up to that, and you're like, I don't remember any of this. What the hell is the Chantry again? What is going on here? And but yeah, I'm not a big fan of Dragon Age anyway. I wish they would just nuke it, get rid of it, bring back Jade Empire.
Yep, you wanted that for a while.
Or even KOTOR 3, or do something that's actually decent. Don't just get rid of Dragon Age. I mean, we have plenty of high fantasy RPGs. Dragon Age doesn't even compete with some of it. I mean, if you want to like something in a more old school fantasy type setting with magic and shit, there's the Witcher series, which is far superior. Or if you want something open world, there's obviously the Elder Scrolls games, or there's a lot of old school games. Hell, I think that the game we're playing right now, that Lord of the Rings, War of the North, is a better game than Dragon Age Inquisition. So
I don't know. See, you stumbled into the Lord of the Rings. You stumbled in. You just threw me in the deep end of the pool, Razzle.
Well, I guess because I just started replaying Inquisition because I wanted to try to get a game through, and it's just so hard to get back into it. It's just not any good.
Weren't you trying to just get through the main story and see if you thought any differently that way?
Yeah, and I'm still going to try because I'm still just in the fucking prologue, and I just hate the fucking story so much, and I'm just sitting here like, I have to get... It's just so weird the way they start the fucking story in that game. I feel like I have no control over my character and who I want them to be. It's just like, oh, it's the same fucking personality, regardless. You want to play a badass, too bad. You have to be a little timid at the beginning. Whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, yeah, but... We did I'm tripping over my own mouth. We haven't talked about our current playthrough of Lord of the Rings.
Well, you know, we're getting close to the end, I would imagine. I don't think we've got that much longer to go with it. But
we've still got a ways.
I don't know, like I heard that the average playtime in that game is like 12 hours.
Oh, maybe we are close.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's only the first movie or what it is.
I figured where we were at, maybe it just follows that point. I thought we made it all the way to the end with the ring and business.
I would wish so, but I don't know if we do or not. I don't know. What do I know?
But even though the game does have some flaws, mostly with its large amount of sound issues, with in-game voice chat, even just the sounds in-game are all fucking skewed and weird. That game is a hell of a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed playing it. I like being my little dwarf lord. Even though the fight system is pretty basic, nothing really changes there. It's pretty repetitive in that sense. It's still a lot of fun, and talking to people, I think, as just being a Lord of the Rings nerd, the amount of lore you get from conversation is awesome. Like, I'll just be there talking to people in Rivendell and be like, oh my god, yes. Just tell me more. Tell me about everything that happened. I already know it, but I want you to tell me. It's been really cool just seeing everybody again and experiencing it and being there. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, they did a good job putting it together. I just wish they had a few more character archetypes to choose from. I don't really like the 3 standard set they came up with. I think it would be better. And maybe if somebody modded it in, maybe that would be cool. But like, I don't know, like a Hobbit fighter, you know, put one of those, because they've got the Hobbit model in the game. I'm sure somebody could mod that in.
You hear that, folks? Get modding. Razzle just wants to be a Hobbit.
Pretty much. I mean, it's hard to find a good game that you can play a Hobbit.
Yeah, I like being a dwarf.
Except for like the old Neverwinter and Baldur's Gate, you could play like a halfling, and that was cool.
That's the same.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, those games are a little dated now. I just would like something that was a little bit more action-oriented, you know? See, that's the thing. Why doesn't Dragon Age do that? Why don't they put a halfling in there? I would forgive them for so many faults. It's not even funny. Like, I wouldn't even give a shit about the story.
Are you
if
serious?
They had halfling. If they put a halfling in there in an action-oriented game, yeah, I would forgive all of their fucking faults, because I would be like, hey, I'm playing a fucking Hobbit right now. I'd make Bilbo Baggins, and I wouldn't give a shit about nothing. I wouldn't even talk to people. I'd just go in there and just fucking fight shit. That's all I would do.
Hot damn.
That shitty little game, and I would say, you know what, this is okay, because they've got, you know, Skyrim, they don't even have halflings. They don't have dwarves either.
What?
They got like elves, and they've got these cat people. They've got lizard people.
Oh
They've got a
yeah,
bunch of different
I
humans.
saw whatever was in the online game.
But no halflings, no fucking hobbits. So I don't get it. Like all these fantasy games, because it used to be like the old school games back when you had like the really, really primitive shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever played any of those old D&D games from the 1980s, but yeah, you could play halflings in that. That was great. That was so cool. Nowadays, I'm trying to think of a recent game other than the Lego games where you can play a halfling or a hobbit other than like an MMO. I'm not counting MMOs. I'm talking about an actual story-based game that you can do that in. And I'm coming up with a blank. Now, maybe in the Lord of the Rings games, maybe I should look into those. Maybe you can have some levels where you play Samwise Gamgee. I don't know.
You talking about like Lord of the Rings Lego?
No, I'm talking about the old console games, like from PS3, PS2.
Yeah.
I heard one of them had local co-op. One of those games had local co-op. Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah, and I think even one of the Harry Potter games had local co-op.
Everything should just be co-op.
Well, I mean, back then they didn't really have online, so I can't really fault them.
I know. I'm just saying now everything should just be co-op.
Yeah, I agree. Everything should have it. Well, not everything should
Well,
have
no, there's
online
some
co-op,
things that obviously don't
like
benefit.
Witcher doesn't need that shit.
No, but like
the
most
Elder Scrolls
games,
doesn't need that shit.
But there's so many games that like I could be playing and be like, oh, this would be better if I could play with someone.
Yeah, most games, I would agree. Like, I think Sims should finally. I think Sims was gonna do it, but they got cold feet. Maybe Sims 5 they'll have co-op.
They're fucking better. All we've got is the Sims free play, and that
And
doesn't
so
count.
many of these fucking games only have local,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just so fucking weird. It's like, who the fuck is gonna? I mean, don't get me wrong. I know people will play local co-op on PC games, but still, you get like these Lego games, online co-op. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why don't you have? They put online co-op in the first game they release, and then they sort of promised it in Harry Potter and Indiana Jones, but I don't think they ever got around to actually doing it. So, I don't know. I guess because they're like, you know what? We sell enough games as they are. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, they don't have a reason to care, I guess.
Which is a shame because they'd be a lot of fun. They'd be a lot of fun. You get even more players because they're hard to play by yourself because they're just too easy, you know, and also you have to switch between characters when you're doing shit.
Mm-hmm.
So much better with co-op.
Yeah, because Star Wars was amazing with co-op.
Yeah, it was.
That was a lot of fun.
It's my best Lego experience simply because it had online co-op.
Mm-hmm.
So easy.
That was good. That was good shit. Ugh.
But yeah, I was so I made a dwarf in Inquisition.
Did ya?
Yeah, I did.
You're going into my people.
Well, I played a dwarf in the first Dragon Age. That was my first character. Yeah, I think I told you I like playing dwarves. Like that's usually the one I would fall back on it because they don't have halflings anymore.
Oh, and I took the dwarf in War in the North.
Although that's fine. That I don't mind because if I really wanted to play something, I would have played the elf. But I was like, you know what? I'll play the human because I figured sword play and bow and arrow would be fun.
Mm-hmm. And you get that on both. So.
Yeah, and except for like the elf, who I think is more of a almost a healer and shit. And I didn't want to keep up with that, so I was like, eh. So why isn't if the elf had a bow and arrow, then I'd be set. I would have picked the elf.
Yeah, well, she doesn't.
But she should. She should have had a bow and arrow.
She's useless. I don't like her. I'm not a fan.
I'm not a fan of what they did with her. No.
No. So. Okay. I don't know how to leave the topic of games.
Well, I don't see why you gotta leave anything. We're just having a conversation.
Because I found this thing a couple of days ago. It's from a website called ifitweremyhome.com.
Yeah.
Have you been on that website?
No.
Okay. You said it like you had some inner knowing about it. So I love Japan. So I was like, oh, like if we're gonna, like I looked up the statistics. If Japan were your home instead of the United States. And it's actually pretty interesting. So I figured I would share this with you because I think it's cool.
Okay.
If you were to live in Japan, you would be 43% less likely to be unemployed, which is insane. So Japan would give you a job. You would live 5 years longer. You would be 93% less likely to be in prison. Can you fucking imagine? 93%. But also, you are 92% less likely to be murdered. So the United States is fucking horrible compared to Japan. Which is crazy. You spend like half the money on healthcare, half the amount of electricity, you consume half the amount of oil, you are 65% less likely to die as a baby. Not that that matters to anybody reading it. You'd be 83% less likely to have HIV or AIDS, and you would have 40% fewer babies. But the only downfall is that you make 30% less money, but you don't need it. Isn't that crazy?
So where was this going?
I just thought it was like I was looking at the number, like 92% less likely to be murdered.
Mm-hmm.
Means living in the United States means that you're like, if you're from Japan and you move to the United States, be like, oh yeah, your chances just increased by 92% to die. Just want you to know, moving to the United States, there's a high chance you could be murdered, sir. 92% uppage from where you used to live. I just want you to know.
Well, that sucks.
Also, there's a almost 50% chance you're not going to get a job. So, enjoy the United States, though. You know? Didn't they used to say the United States was like, the streets were paved with gold?
The what?
Wasn't that a thing for the United States, or is that New York?
What are you talking about? The streets are paved with gold?
Yeah, the streets are paved with gold.
I've been told that, like heaven and shit, like they usually would say, like, the streets are paved with gold in heaven.
Hold on, I'm seeing this.
I always remember hearing that. I was like, why would they have gold in heaven? What the hell would that even do? Like, is heaven supposed to have like a fucking economy?
Well, no.
Like, why would I care if it's made of gold? I don't understand.
I mean, once you get there, none of that matters. It's like, oh, I'm dead.
You know, the other thing that really bothers me is how that people would say, like, in heaven, everyone's happy. And I'm like, well, if everybody's happy, that means they're not themselves. I mean, they're no longer themselves. Now they're like either coked up or drugged up or...
Well, yeah, and also, how can you be happy in heaven? Like, you don't know whether, like, any of your friends or family are going to meet you.
You know what I used to...
You don't know if anyone you know is going to be there.
Well, no, I know, and that's the other thing. Like, so are you telling me, like, okay, you get to heaven, and one of your kids doesn't make it. Let's say one of your kids goes to hell, and you're happy. Think about that.
You're just about that. You're just like, oh, my kid didn't make it. He went to hell. That's too bad.
You're telling me you're going to be happy while your kid's like burning forever. And you're going to tell me everybody in heaven's happy. And this kind of stuff always is what I think about. This is what I think about late at night. And you know what else I think about? I think about, what if it's just to the letter? Like, what if what they're saying is just to the letter? And by that I mean this. And I'm about to get into some blasphemous territory.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm leaning back. Okay.
All right, so think about this. What if, and I'm not saying this is how it is, religious folks, okay? I'm not saying that, but
everybody
think about it like
chill out.
this.
We're just having a conversation.
Well, what if when you get to heaven, all right, it's true that everyone says they're happy, but the reason they say they're happy is the moment they're no longer happy, they can't stay in heaven, and then they get sent to hell. So everybody's just like, yeah, I'm happy. And they like walk up to the next person, are you happy? I'm happy. And they're really like scared out of their fucking mind because they're like, I could be sent to hell at any second. Because if they like look at some of the stuff like in the biblical shit, like with God like smiting down people and stuff, like in the Old Testament stuff, that's some brutal shit.
See, I always figured,
murdering the firstborn. Like you read that story from like the story of Moses, where like going out there, God's gonna murder the firstborn. He sends out this like ghostly thing or whatever to go kill children. Or he like floods the planet.
What confuses me is people read that. People know that exists, that these stories exist about God. And then they're like, oh, well, he loves everyone. He loves you. Just remember that he loves you. And I'm like, okay, well, but he also might like, but he could also ruin my existence.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so he does all this shit, right? And like this guy, I'm not making this stuff. I'm not saying supposedly he did it, because if you believe this, then you would believe that he did it. And if he does all this, and if he also has heaven, and this is where you're going,
you can't really pick and choose.
I want you to really think about this for a second, people. Because if you get to heaven, all right, and you're in heaven, and you're happy, and a lot of your loved ones aren't there, and they're burning forever. So either you forget your loved ones exist, which means that you're no longer you because your memories are gone, and you no longer can feel emotion, so you're no longer human. The only emotion you can feel is love. Think about that. The only emotion. Because there's no sadness in heaven. There's no anger. And so this is the stuff that used to weird me out. Everybody was always so happy when they heard, like, oh, yeah, heaven. Everybody's happy. Everybody was like, yeah. But I'm sitting there thinking, Jesus.
That would scare the shit out of me.
That scares the crap out of me.
Like I couldn't live like that.
And that's why I can't believe in that stuff, because I'm like, that would just – I can't sleep at night believing shit like that. It's me nightmare. It had, like, the adverse reaction on me. I don't know if there are other people who think like me, though. Like, I'm just sitting there like, this weirds me out. Like, if I'm in heaven and I can only feel love, that means that I can't feel anything else. That means that I'm no longer me. And it means that, does that mean I'm really happy? Or am I just saying that I'm happy to avoid burning forever?
Where you're
I don't
just
know.
Like living in some weird amount of fear.
So I guess what I'm saying is if you believe in heaven, maybe that's what it's like. Maybe. Think about it. I don't know. I mean, we'll all find out one day, right?
I always just thought that, really, because according to everything I've ever read or seen, I'm not going to make it. I'm not getting in there, which is fine. I don't believe in that kind of stuff anyway. But, like, if I were, by some miracle, they just welcomed me in, I would figure, at that point, like, once they've let you in, you can't kick me out. I'm in there. Like, so I can do whatever I want. And if it's heaven, my idea of heaven is that if it's my heaven, I get the things that, like, I would want. That would make me happy. Which means there'd be a lot of pizza. And there'd be a lot of booze.
No, but I don't think you could eat and drink in heaven, though, because I don't think you'd feel hunger. Because if you felt hunger, that means you could get hungry, which means you could feel the sensation of starving, which means you no longer be
Well, then I can't
happy.
feel joy without food.
No, you'll be sitting up there with, like, harps and shit, wearing your robes,
Nope.
singing Christian music.
I would rather kill myself.
Or if you were to, like, here's the other thing. Like, what if, like, because we don't even know which religion, if any religion is real, which one is it? We don't know. And most people just believe what they're taught. Most people are raised inside of a religion, so that's what they believe. Other people do change religions, but what if they made the wrong choice? Can you imagine being raised in the right religion and then you change and then you find out you were wrong to change?
Well, everybody thinks their religion's the right religion.
Well, everybody thinks that. I know. That's kind of my point. So,
but when you think about it all. I mean, there's something. Like, who was it? I think it was Bill Burr I was watching who talked about religion and how he was really religious. And then, like, he would find something wrong in everybody else's religion, but then he's like, oh, well, I believed that this woman just gave birth to this kid out of nowhere. He's like, I believe that a guy's just walking on water. He's like, never mind. He's like, I have to walk away. He's like, I'm just going to walk away from all of it and find something that makes sense to him.
Nobody would believe that if it happened today. People are like, yeah, okay,
like,
right.
What drugs are you on?
Right. You just spontaneously became pregnant. Right. Okay.
You're a whore, Cindy. You're a whore.
I mean, but seriously, I mean, I don't know. Like, but I was just getting at here is, let's say that you're a Muslim. Let's say that you follow the tenets of your faith to the letter, and that you're like this wonderful person, and you spend every day helping out friends. You're like praying 5 times a day. You're super fucking devout. And one day you die and you go up to what you assume is to be heaven because you've served God all your life. And then it turns out, hey, he's going to be like, yeah, but you didn't believe in the right way because you thought Jesus was a prophet instead of a God. So I'm going to make you burn. I mean, I don't understand any of the logic in it, but I mean, this is the conflicting points.
See,
I don't know.
It all sounds, I don't know. I think everything's a little weird because there's things that I think about and I don't know that I believe in them, but there's things that I think about and I know they sound kind of crazy. But I can sit with things that I think about and I've thought like, oh, maybe I could believe in that, and also in the same breath say, that seems a little weird. But then my grandmother is a my grandmother's whole side of the family, half of my family is full-blooded Italian, and they're really, really devout Catholics. Catholic school, everything. Like, everybody writes in perfect fucking cursive and shits on me because I can't. And they're all crazy about being Catholic, which is fine. But the moment I say something that goes against it, or I'm like, or I question something, they're like, well, how could you? It had to have happened. And I'm like, but could you see how if you step outside of this, it sounds weird, and they can't process that. I have an issue when people can't process that. If looking from the outside, it could seem weird. And no member of my family has ever been like, yeah, you're right. I can see how this can be questioned.
I mean, I gotta hand it to Christians though, because most religions, like most of the big religions, they're all works based. Like you have to take Islam for example. Like if you're a devout Muslim, that means you're praying 5 times a day.
That is a job.
That is a dedication.
Like, that is like it doesn't have to be at specific times too.
Yeah, it's
like facing a certain way.
Yes, facing a certain way, and you also have to say it in the traditional Arabic. You cannot say it in any other language.
Yeah.
So even if you don't even know what the hell you're saying, you still got to say those words exactly.
Like you have to stop what you're doing and pray.
Yeah, and there's like motions you do with it. But what I'm saying is that Christians, man, Christianity, they don't have that shit. Christianity, you know how you get into heaven according to Christianity? You just go, hey, Jesus, please come into my life.
What?
You're done. You're set for life. That's it.
Well, hey, Christianity might be for me.
No, I'm just saying, that's it. So it's weird to me.
That doesn't seem right.
No, but it is, because Christianity is one of the only religions I can even think of that is not a works-based religion.
What does that mean when it's a works-based religion?
It means that you don't have to go out and actually do things in order to get into heaven. You don't earn your way into heaven.
Do they have to go to church?
No.
They don't have to follow anything?
But here's the thing. Here's what they try to do, a catch-22, but it doesn't really work.
Okay.
What they say is if you're really moved by the Spirit and you really let him in your life, you're going to want to go to church. You're going to want to go and do all these things. But the thing is, you don't have to.
You don't need to be that moved.
No, I don't even think you need to be baptized to go to heaven, according to some. Now, I know there are some tenets in the Christian faith that are very different. In fact, I think Anabaptists would come to mind. They're the ones who are a little bit more works-based, like the Amish or the Mennonites, like the really traditional conservative Mennonites, like they dress a certain way. They don't use electricity, so they have very different structures. So when I say Christianity, I guess I'm talking mostly mainstream Christianity. But yeah, they don't really have works-based efforts to get into heaven. It's just this thing you do, you say it, you're done. It's like you just booked a ticket on one of those websites.
That is so...
I just booked a ticket to heaven.
That's nutty.
And you got all these like Muslims and shit. They're like praying 5 times a day in the traditional Arabic, and you got like Jewish people following the Jewish code, and you like for instance with the Jews, they can't even write the name of God. They cannot write it down because one of the things in Judaism, and I don't know if this is the case for like Reform Judaism or the more liberal branches, but certainly the more Orthodox or conservatives, they can't write the name God, because if they write it down, that means there's a chance that the name of God will become desecrated in some way. Like that piece of paper might get thrown up and thrown in the trash, like rolled up and thrown in the trash. And that's a huge no-no in Judaism. You can't do that. Huh. So there's like all of these, there's like all these little things with each religion, but Christianity, man, it's super
They're
fucking
very
easy.
fucking laid back.
It's like the fast food of religion.
See, that baffles me, because I was raised in a family where everybody had to be baptized. Like
but you're like Catholic though, right?
Well, I'm not.
Not you. I mean, you were raised Catholic, right?
Yeah, like my family's like, you need your baptism, your first communion, you have to do all this shit with rosary, you have to go to church every Sunday.
Catholicism is a little different.
Yeah.
Catholicism does have a lot more rules and shit to go with it. It does. And then you have like after that, I think you have like Methodists, which are sort of Catholic light. They sort of have
Catholic.
They have some
calm down.
It's kind of like it's Catholicism, but it's a lighter version of Catholicism. And then as you go further down and down into different paths, you have like the Baptist, and you have the fucking other branch with the Anabaptist and stuff. But Yeah, I think Catholics, they're the ones, they believe in infant baptism. And that's where the Anabaptists came in, because Anabaptists...
you need to be baptized as a baby in my family. Yep.
Now, Methodists have the option to have their infants baptized, but it's not something that's required under Methodism. But it is something that happens. Whereas Anabaptists, they're like, you have to be a certain age to choose to be baptized. Like, you cannot be baptized as an infant in the Anabaptist branches. Like, and of course, by Anabaptists, I mean, like, obviously the most extreme ones are the Amish and the Mennonites. But, yeah.
See, I find it all interesting because even though half of my family, because I'm a 50-50 split between two countries with my family. So I have half that's Italian and very Catholic. My family is the type of family that would use God to scare the shit out of kids. Like they'd be like if I was to talk back or something, my grandmother would be like, she would literally look at me and she's like, may God strike you down for the things that you just said to me. She's like, you are going to feel this. And I was like, what in the hell? And then she'd like beat me with a spoon, because that's what grandparents did. But then there was the other side of my family from pretty much Iceland and all those areas. They are completely different from the Italian side because they're all considered pagan. They're all extremely spiritual people, and like they have many gods instead of one. And there's lots of there's a lot more like feast that happen. Like there's like every holiday is just like a feast. It's a reason to eat and connect with people. It's more about like just loving your family. And like the rules of my dad's side of the family were essentially treat women the same as men. Love your family, always be honest, because if you're not honest, it's considered like a great disrespect to everybody and you're disowned for it. And it's just completely different. I have like two polar opposites, and the Catholic side of my family hates them because they think they're crazy. And then my dad's side of the family hates the Catholic side because they think they're crazy. And it was very interesting to be in the middle of, and growing up, and like for a long time I felt like I had to choose a side. But then I was like, I don't want to be in either. Because this all seems nuts. Because I'd hear both of them complain and tell me why each side was wrong. And I'm like, interesting. This is all insane to me. But it's really cool kind of growing up and seeing two dramatically different religions and spiritual beliefs.
See, my family, we're mostly Irish, so we drink a lot. And then we have a lot of Welsh as well, and some British. Mostly the UK, though. That's pretty much it. The UK and Ireland, I say. So we're very Irish. So we drink a lot. We eat a lot of Irish food.
Hey, we do that too. Well, the Italians and the Vikings all were big drinkers. So I kind of got both.
I've actually got some ancestors that come from the Vikings as well.
See, there you go.
That's something we have in common there.
No, we could be cousins.
But I think that the hobbits are sort of the Irish of the Middle Earth.
Oh, they absolutely are.
So that makes me happy. So it helps me relate, because I'm like, yeah, I can totally relate.
But who are the Vikings of Middle Earth? Because those would be my people.
Probably the dwarves. If I had to just pick who the Vikings are, just looking at them.
Yeah, because they just like smash heads and run into battle.
They just fucking kill shit. They just...
I've never felt closer to Vikings and dwarves now. Shit.
And that makes me think maybe the elves or the French.
The elves have to be the French. They're like, we are not getting involved. No. We must protect our own. We've lost too many on this day. We're leaving. They don't tell anybody they're leaving. They're just like, we're leaving now. Goodbye.
Pretty much.
I think the humans would be the Italians.
Yeah, probably.
Because the Italians are shady as fuck. Well, Italians and Russians are equally shady.
Wow.
And mind you, people, I don't care. I say this because I'm half Italian. I know these people.
I can say this because I'm half Italian.
I can say whatever I want. But there's like I don't know. They're shady as shit. They do whatever they want. They're always fighting over nothing that matters. Yeah, it's the Russians and the Italians.
Well, it's almost St. Patrick's Day where everybody's Irish, so.
Oh God! Everybody go to Boston on St. Patrick's Day. It is it is the craziest shit.
Oh, we got some crazy shit down here.
Oh, I'm telling you. In Boston though, you can take the day off and the next day off.
Well, yeah, I know, because you got a lot of Irish people up there. And
yeah, we have it's interesting. Boston is mostly Italian and Irish. It's dwindling away because the old generations are dying. But South Boston is all the Irish. North Boston is all the Italians. And St. Patrick's Day, like there's a big Italian festival for like a month in the summer, which is amazing. If you like Italian food and you like good food, that's a good thing to go to. But St. Patrick's Day is the craziest day of the year. It's like, I guess you could say it's the Mardi Gras for Boston. It's insane. Like, you can take the day off from work and no one questions it, and then you can be like, oh yeah, can I have tomorrow off too? Because they know you're going to be still shit-faced or really hungover. It's crazy.
St. Patrick's Day is very big down here too, I will say.
Really? That's surprising.
Everything from the fucking drinking to the parades and everything, people do take the day off.
Do you have a lot of Irish there?
I assume so. It's weird because like I'm more Irish than most of them, and I don't even really give a shit.
I don't care.
I'm always kind of like, the real Irish drink every other day of the year. So
right.
If you guys want to get shit-faced and whatever and pretend to be a leprechaun for God's sake, then go right ahead.
I remember people telling me that. What they do with beads?
Yeah, apparently there's this thing with beads where apparently I don't really know how it works because I don't ever go to St. Patrick's Day.
Me neither.
Yeah, but apparently there's something between guys and girls and the beads.
Do you just have to like flash or something? Like
Mardi Gras? I don't really know.
Is it like Mardi Gras?
I assume it's like Mardi Gras, but I don't know. I don't know because I don't really take part in St. Patrick's Day. It's weird because I'm like always I hear about St. Patrick's Day and people always get on to me. They're like, "Why aren't you wearing green?" I'm like, "I'm fucking Irish. I'm exempt."
Well, I love the people who only wear like the "Kiss Me, I'm Irish" shirts around St. Patrick's Day, and I'm like, "You're a piece of shit." I was like, "Why would you do that?" I hate that.
What I should do is you guys are offending me wearing green. Like all Irish people are leprechauns.
It's like
in
how
this
dare you assume that this is all we do? You're rude.
I mean, I could just accuse everybody of cultural appropriation if I gave a shit,
Yeah, oh God, that reminds me of all the festivals. Because in the North End in Boston, they do this big festival every year, and my family owns half of the North End, and they did a big parade for my uncle when he died, and there was all these tourists there. Everybody's suddenly Italian that day. Like, everybody's Italian during an Italian festival, just like everyone's Irish around St. Patrick's Day. It's ridiculous.
Well, I think that's the beauty of America, though. Like,
yeah, but it irritates me.
No, I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. Like, I think that the whole fact that we are a multicultural country means that we should all embrace each other's festivals and activities and holidays and just all celebrate because we're all Americans down here, And I wish it was more like that, but I feel like more and more people try to divide communities more and more as we go further and further into the future. And I'm sitting here like, I don't get it. Like, I feel like everybody should just have a good time and go out. And so when I talk about St. Patrick's Day, I'm just fucking around.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that bothers me is the amount of tourists that come through and you overhear them. I don't know. I think the only thing that bothers me is people that I don't like it when people speak ignorantly of a culture that you're heavily involved in. Like, if you're ignorant, that's fine. But when you start saying shit in front of people that have, like, lived there their whole lives and, like, actually came from overseas and stuff, and you're saying all this shit and you don't know what you're talking about, that can get frustrating. That gets annoying sometimes. But most of the times the people at the festivals are a lot of fun. And it's different when you go to those because everyone's dancing in the streets. They're only playing Italian music, and they have all these bands and food carts set up everywhere. And it's a good time. So I guess I don't mind it most of the time. I'm usually not paying attention to them unless I overhear something that's just stupid. Then I'm just like, oh, you're dumb. And then I just walk on.
So anyway, I do think that No Man's Sky should have a documentary drama, I guess is what I was trying to say.
Wait, what? I'm really confused. What just happened?
I think I went back to the beginning somehow.
I don't want to.
Figured we went around the block and came right back.
I don't want to. I don't want to go around the block.
Where do you want to go? There's so many directions we could go right now. We got like 20 to 30 minutes.
We only have 10 minutes.
No,
20 minutes.
Nope.
The fuck am I going to do with 20 minutes?
20 to 30 minutes, so you better make this good.
It's always on me.
Well, I tried to take it back, but
It's
you didn't
always
want to
on
go.
me all the time. Well, what the fuck do I care about a No Man's Sky docudrama? I'm
No,
not gonna watch it.
I think it would be a great little. I could put like Angelina Jolie in it.
Absolutely
I could
not.
make it really. Oh,
Nope.
I could. I could put
I don't
Jolie
want
in
to watch it.
there, and she'll be like the lead developer, and she'll be
Absolutely
like
not.
really excited
Yeah,
about
the
this
lead developer
project.
of nothing. Like, I guess it does work for her if we're going that route.
No, I just haven't thought about No Man's Sky for so long. But there's another game coming out tomorrow that I really want to get my hands on, but I'm not going to be able to probably till after Mass Effect, and that's uh oh God, why did I just draw a blank? It's that game where you're playing this hunter woman and she's fighting robot
Horizon Zero
dinosaurs.
Dawn.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That game looks so good.
Mhm.
Looks like a beautiful little
I
game. I
haven't
can't
looked at
wait
it
to
at
play it.
all.
Yeah,
I know it's like
I haven't
robots and
really.
shit, but I haven't looked at it.
It looks good, and I'm looking forward to it. But I'm gonna wait because I think Mass Effect's the next big game I'm gonna sink my teeth into, and I don't want anything to get in the way of that. I'm really just looking forward to Mass Effect.
Well, I just don't. I don't know. I'm not really looking at anything. The only things I've been looking at a lot lately because I've been watching too much of them is Neo and Dark Souls. And I know I'm not gonna like either of them.
Well,
But I could like them, but I have a
you
feeling
never
I'll just
know.
be angry.
Yeah, I think they frustrate a lot of people. They're
Yeah.
very difficult.
I'm just gonna be mad at them the whole time and be upset. And I don't want to be upset.
Well, then don't play them.
I have to.
Problem solved.
Listen, Razzle.
Yes?
I'm going through my junk list here, trying to help us out.
Well, oh, you got a junk list?
Yeah.
I mean, I could have just taken us somewhere, but if
Oh,
you got a
take us
junk
somewhere.
list.
I don't have a junk list.
All right, well, I was taking us back to No Man's Sky, but
Fucking A.
okay, what I was thinking about was what kind of animals, because No Man's Sky had a lot of weird looking animals, obviously, because it was all random. But do you think there's only going to be a whole lot of wildlife, maybe, in Andromeda?
Oops, I
I
just
think there's going to be like a.
well, like
You what?
wild animals? I just like whacked my microphone.
Oh. Well, you just heard everybody listening to this.
Whatever.
There's
Deal with
nobody
it.
listening to this.
Nobody downloads this.
Nobody gets this far. Are you kidding me? After the first 5 minutes of hearing my voice, they're like, oh,
They're like, oh,
no.
this guy with the introductions.
Not
Bye.
this person. No,
But
they
well,
left
they
a
have
lot.
like the Varan and like the little monkey critters. I mean, I'm only
Is there a
thinking of Mass
Varan?
Effect 1 and 2.
Why would the Varan be there?
No, I'm
Why
thinking
would the
of one.
Varan?
Can you let me finish a thought?
Well, I was talking about Andromeda, and you're talking about putting the Varan on this
Okay, I'm not
expedition.
saying that. I'm getting to
You
it.
literally just
Okay,
said it,
I'm
though.
saying that they have. Oh, my Atlanta, Georgia. They have the Varan and like the little monkey critters, and they even have like those weird like
Monkey
deer-looking things. I shot 3 of them by accident. I was so
You're such an asshole.
I know. And then they had like the little deer things.
That's a part of your canon forever now that Shepard shot those fucking innocent animals.
That's fine. She would.
Because can't you like kill those little monkeys? I think you can kill them.
You can. I killed
And
3
it's
of
like
them.
what? It makes me wonder, like if you take a squad mate with you and they're just watching Shepard randomly shooting these fucking monkeys. It's like, Shepard, what the fuck are you doing? You're just shooting random monkeys, and they don't even think because if I was a developer of this fucking game, you know what I would have done? The moment you kill that fucking monkey, I would have had whoever you're in the squad with, they like reach over, grab your shoulder, twist you around, and be like, Shepard, why the hell did you just kill that fucking monkey? And like I would have this huge fucking 10, 15-minute dialogue where you're trying to justify the fact you just shot a fucking monkey and like completely obliterated it. And like I would just do that like as a fucking developer. I would write this shit in to the game. I'd have dramatic music. And it would be you remember that movie with Scout, the
Scout?
the lawyer.
What? Scouts?
Yeah, the lawyer, the little girl named Scout. To Kill a Mockingbird. Thank you. But yeah, it would be just like that. It would just like they put Shepard on trial, and Garrus is trying to defend your fucking stupid ass for shooting that fucking monkey, and you're having to go before the council and they're like, Shepard, I hear you shot a fucking monkey. Justify this shit.
See,
and you're just sitting there like, I don't know.
I'm happy they didn't do that to me.
I wish they had. I wish they had done that to you just to teach you a lesson about shooting fucking animals.
Okay, I shoot animals in every single game I've ever played, and it is
That is
a
sad.
super bad habit.
Didn't you kill one of the animals when we were in Wildlands? Didn't you like fucking shoot random dogs
Yes,
and
I
shit?
shot every single cow in the field, and then
You
I
shot
I showed
cows
it
and
to you.
dogs. And see, this is why I really struggle with playing co-op games where there are animals in there with you, because you would just fucking kill
And
animals
then
for
in
no reason.
Division, I killed every dog that I came by, and I told you it was because I was scared, but I was just killing dogs.
Yeah, you're like a psychopath. You're like the next OJ.
Wow. He's innocent, okay?
He's innocent until proven guilty.
It's just I'm really happy the game doesn't do that to me because that would be a dilemma I couldn't deal with. Like if Garrus just turned me around and was like,
well,
Shepard,
good.
what are you doing? I'd be like,
what the fuck? Like I'd write it in like, Shepard, what the fuck, man? Because think about it. Like if you went to a planet and you're with Shepard and Shepard draws her fucking weapon, points it at a fucking monkey, and blasts not only just shoots it but obliterates the fucking thing. Like for no fucking reason.
I didn't obliterate it. I was using a pistol.
Yeah, but that still fucking obliterates the little guy. So, and then somebody's gonna.
And I run
say
over
something.
the deer things with the hovering machinery.
But who the fuck is gonna just sit there and
Why does
not
it
say
bother you
anything?
so much?
It bothers me that they don't make this because this is a part of your canon and they don't even bother to write it into the fucking narrative. Like, how can people sit there and watch you shoot a monkey and not say something? Doesn't that bother you? Like, what kind of people do you have with you that they won't say anything?
I'm Commander Shepard.
Yeah, but doesn't that bother you that they don't say anything? They're just like, okay, that's
No, if
cool.
they said something, I'd smack them. I'd be like, I'm your fucking commander. You
but
don't question
you realize
me.
that means they have like no moral compass then,
They
right?
probably
Like,
do, but there's more important things at stake than a monkey.
I don't think there is. Like, I think there's something wrong when see, this is the problem. Like, the biggest stake you have in that game is like the Geth. Like the first game is the Geth. And you shoot a fucking animal. And it's like, why did you just shoot that animal? Save your fucking ammunition and we're gonna go fucking fight, these Geth armies, and you're sitting here shooting a monkey for no reason.
I feel like you're really shitting on me really hard. And
no, I'm not even talking about you. I'm just talking about why don't they have this in the narrative of the game? Why isn't this in there?
I don't know. The only times they ever say anything is when you shoot at them.
Yeah, I know. It's like, why are you shooting at me? Don't point that at
Watch
me.
yourself, Shepard. And you're just
Shoot
like,
another
shit.
monkey.
But they never, they don't care.
Okay, how about this? How about instead of that, what if like Garrus walked over, picked up the monkey, and said, well, at least we have dinner. And then like just starts cooking the fucking thing.
That's fine. I'd be like, yeah, it's sure, whatever.
You guys sit around a campfire and eat the fucking monkey.
I'd be alright with that. Let's do it.
I don't know. It weirds me out. And this is the type of stuff I think about.
It's not what I think about.
What do you think about? Were we going somewhere with this?
No.
I feel like we were talking about animals. Oh, that's right. We were talking about what kind of animals we would find at Andromeda.
Oh, I have no clue. We know there's going to be tremors.
I think there'll be like trumpagators in there.
Trumpagators? He's going to get famous. Have his own rivers to go in. Oh my god. That's like when we found that gator in the forest.
The forest. Oh, yeah.
Remember when we found that gator? That was scary. Anyway, back to Andromeda.
Every time I come across a gator in a video game is scary. Like going back to the first Lara Croft Tomb Raider, I remember when I first saw like that fucking alligator in the water, because I just thought it was like a pool I could go swim in, and suddenly there's this fucking alligator coming up after me. I'm like, what the hell? Same feeling I had when I was in like Far Cry Primal. There's an alligator in the fucking lake. I'm like, what the hell?
That happened to me in oh god, what was I playing? Mafia 3.
Yeah, that happened to me all the fucking time in Mafia.
I didn't know that there was anything in the water, and then all of a sudden it just fucking grabbed me, and I was like, oh my god. And the one time I dropped a body in the water, and this gator just came up and ate it, and I screamed. I was just like, I was like, what is this? And then I remember trying to get to somebody, and they was just infested with gators, but I couldn't see them. And yeah, they scare me. I don't like water critters.
Or like GTA 5, if you ever play the single-player mode and you take a jet ski out into the water, eventually a shark will appear.
Yeah, we talked about that a bunch playing multiplayer.
Yeah, it doesn't appear in multiplayer, but in single-player, that fucking shark will just appear on your map, and then you'll see it in the water.
Wait, it's just on the map?
Like you can see it on the map. Yeah, it'll fucking attack you.
Even on a jet ski?
I don't know if it'll attack you while you're on the vehicle, but if you like get off the vehicle at least and go into the water, that thing will attack you.
Will you die instantly?
I don't know. I never.
Can I
Here's
shoot
the thing. I only encountered this thing once when I was just on a jet ski goofing around, and as soon as I saw something on the map, I thought it was weird, and then I noticed it was a shark because I could see the fin, and I started hightailing it out of there. I was like, nope, 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 and I got out of there. It's like, I'm not dealing with a shark.
Just, I'm never going in the deep end of the pool again.
Because I think that's how they keep players from like going too far out. Is they put sharks out there.
I wonder if you go far enough out, if the sharks will just start attacking you, like attacking the machinery.
Like, I don't know if they will, because it followed me for a while, but that was about it. And for a second, I thought I almost fell into the water, and I was like, oh God, no.
Yeah, no, I can't deal with that. I would have the worst anxiety.
Especially if you were playing like first person. That would be.
Nope. Hard pass. Would rather die. I would rather not. Do we have time for other things? I don't know where the timer's at.
Yeah, we could do one more thing.
Okay. What do I have here? Shit. Let me see. Do you think people see your personality differently than you see your own personality?
Absolutely.
Okay, so how do you see yourself? Like, if you were to describe yourself, like, how do you see yourself?
I'm like a cross.
Don't be a fuckboy right now. I can't. Don't say stupid shit. I'm so serious.
I don't know how to answer that question.
Like, how would you,
I don't know.
if you had to describe yourself, even if not to other people, even if like to yourself, you were just like saying like, this is who I am. How would you describe yourself?
Gandalf the Wise.
God damn it! I can't do anything with you.
No, okay, well, I don't know. I don't really know. Like, that's a really weird question to ask somebody. Like, how do you see yourself? Well, I don't know. I see myself as
you have to think about it now.
Oh God.
Because we need to talk about it next week.
We can't talk about this next week. I'm not going to be able to remember this.
Well, write it down.
Well, why don't you answer the question if you know everything?
What, do you see answer yourself? About you?
No.
About myself?
No.
Oh, I know the way I see myself is not how other people see me, because the way other people, everybody thinks that I'm just a piece of shit. I'm not even kidding. Like, everybody thinks I'm just a super sarcastic asshole who cares about nothing. And that's not the case. I just think I don't know, I think I'm like really, I wouldn't say out of touch with like other people. I just think I don't care about most of the things that are going on and like what people are talking about, and I just convey it poorly. So then they think I'm just a shitty human being who doesn't care. But that's not me. That's not how I see myself.
I think the thing is, I don't think most people think about other people. I really don't. I think most people just don't give a shit about other people, and that's why that.
Oh, well, I believe that. I openly don't.
Like, I mean, who do you really sit around thinking about all day? And I think some people worry too much. They're like, oh, well, what if I say something wrong or I do this wrong? Most people don't give a shit. Most people aren't even paying attention to you, I promise. Nobody. Anywhere. Most people aren't paying attention to me.
I'm paying attention. I am right here all the time.
That's why I play video games, so I'm the center of attention in the whole fucking universe.
Wow.
Everybody's thinking about me.
Yeah, I think I play video games to get a fresh start. Like, I get to be like, I don't know, because the thing is, like, when I play a game and base it off myself, it ends up with the same result that I get in real life.
I never play myself in a game. Ever.
I do. My first run through is always myself.
I never do that. I always play a character. I'm like, nope, this is the character I'm going to be, and because I like being somebody else. I just want to be other people.
Oh no, I
just be
feel
other
that
people all day long.
I feel that, but I think I do myself first because it lets me feel like I'm actually doing something and I'm making all these friends and all these connections and like traveling.
Oh no, I feel all those things too, but I like to play a character when I'm doing it.
Yeah, if I play a character, I'm slightly disconnected because I have to like focus on who they are.
Not me. I get invested in the story and the narrative, and I'm just completely in there. And then I am that character for that length of time, but then the game's over. I'm like, okay, that was cool.
See, I can't do that. You're better than me.
I know I'm better than you, but still.
I'm never talking to you again after today. This was the last straw.
This was it.
This was it.
Okay,
this
guys, we made it
point.
to episode 52. I think that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That we made it this far.
I'm just going to wrap it up there because now I'm really angry with you. So, if you guys want, you can email us at theprattlecast@gmail.com. Don't expect anyone to answer, though, because this is over. Speakpipe.com/theprattlecast if you want to leave a message. We probably won't read them because this is over. Every episode is uploaded to YouTube. I don't know why he's laughing. I'm dead serious. Every episode is uploaded to YouTube. He's still laughing. He's not going to be laughing soon. I'll record him crying later. It's okay. We have
anyway.
We're saying goodbye.
Wait, no, we got to do episode 53 real fast.
No.
We got to go another hour and a half.
I don't want to be with you for another hour and a half.
That's fair.
We're on Twitter under the Prattlecast. Our personal Twitters are at ShakeZillaTV and at Razzle_Dazzles. We used to stream every Friday/Saturday together. This week, we were supposed to stream on Friday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, playing The Lord of the Rings, War in the North. If we do it, expect a large amount of animosity.
There will be lots.
You know,
need to bring
all that
alcohol.
good stuff. Yeah, bring it because I'll have it.
Have it all over the place.
And we have a Patreon page where you can support us. It'll probably go towards counseling at this point.
Yeah.
But
lots of counseling.
you know, you can go on there and donate as little as $1, as much as $1 million, whatever you want.
It's $1 million.
I think the max is actually 50.
You can only do 50?
Well, it's $50 a month. Like it's like a subscription, and they get like special treats and stuff. They get like T-shirts and shit if they donate that much.
Oh, I need a T-shirt.
Yeah, well, donate $50 to yourself.
Donate $50.
Yeah, they get like T-shirts and all sorts of fucking business, like posters and shit.
I didn't know about this.
Well, you've never looked at the Patreon page.
Shouldn't I sign these for people? I'll just sign them.
Yeah, that's what it says, is that they'd be signed.
How am I gonna sign
It's
this?
nice to know Razzle's never looked at the Patreon page.
Say I've agreed to sign things.
But you can donate to that. That's good stuff. Anyway, that's it for us. We won't be back next week. We're done forever. But you can see us on Friday playing Lord of the Rings War in the North. We might be here next Monday. But right now it's a no. But until maybe next time, be nice to each other.